Hi, thank you for joining us. I'm Sharon from Free Spirit Fabrics. This is week 2 of the Kaffetastic Quilt Along, and we wanted to talk to you about the community that the Quilt Along has created. We've gotten some really positive comments on Facebook, and we encourage you to leave us more positive comments. This is our first time doing a Quilt Along like this, and also doing video, so we would appreciate any comments that you have. I want to remind you that this is a study in color and that there are primarily 2 blocks that we're making through all of the weeks that we're working on this project together. So we're doing a 4-patch block, and we're doing a square and square block throughout the whole process. And it's a study in color in such a way that we're using fabrics. Kafe and Liza have come together and have created 2 gorgeous quilts, and they're fabrics that are just beautiful. All of Kafe's fabrics are beautiful fabrics. The collective has tons of beautiful colors to select from, all kinds of colorways, very deep colorways, and a lot of purples, a lot of blues, a lot of reds. So much to choose from. And what's wonderful about this is that they've put these colors together in a way that maybe you've never thought of putting together. I mean, it's very easy to do a traditional quilt, but to do something like this is a study in color. And it broadens your horizons. It makes you explore in a different way. And the community that we're trying to create with the Quilt Along is to bring everybody together, and we can work on this together. Again, it could be in a quilt store. It could be virtually. It could be over Facebook. It could be at your girlfriend's house. It could be at a coffee shop, maybe off hours. There are so many different ways that you can come together and work on this and meet new people and learn new techniques. And we just are excited to share this journey with you. I'd like to also talk about the threads that the Kafe Collective has developed. These threads are gorgeous. They work with all of the fantastic colors, all of the fabrics that Kafe has developed. And look at how fantastic this is. I mean, there are definitely some bold threads in this, and there are also some very beautiful neutrals that'll work great. So, you know, any project that you decide to pick up, you could do any thread in here would be beautiful. The other tips that I'd like to give you for this week are we're still going to be working on, you know, we start off doing our strip sets. You're going to be making 24 of these. They're going to be cut. And then in the end, you will have 12 4-patch blocks for week 2. And then for your square and square, there are a multitude of different ones that you'll be working on. Just picking up a few here, kind of stuck together. All different square and square. And we talked in last week, we talked about tips and tricks, and we talked about how to do the 4-patch blocks, and we also talked about the half square triangles and different tips. So refer back to that if you have any questions, because we're not going to repeat that process, but we're going to continue to work on that throughout this. And what better way to work through a quilt like this in a study in color than to have a very simple block, or 2 simple blocks. So it's a very easy way to have this experience with us forward for this week. So one of those things is to label your pieces. So here's an example. So as you're cutting, if you don't have time, at the time to sew, like this is fabric B, and you can match it up. Here's the PDF that you've received or you've downloaded. And here's fabric B, and this is fabric B. So you can put a little piece of tape on it if you like, or again, you can use a fabric marker and do that. Here's fabric Q and fabric R. And now what I do is I put them all together in my sunset bag or baggie, so that when I'm ready to sew, I've got it together. And then I can just pull it out and start sewing. And then in these instructions also, we're referring to all of the fabric will be used at some point, so please hold on to it. In here, we say set aside 1 strip for week 4. Set aside, there was a fabric that was set aside in week 1. Down here, set aside leftover strip for week 4. So I would recommend that you get a separate bag, empty bag, and just write week 4. And once you have made those strips or those blocks, start loading them into week 4, so that when week 4 comes, you can just refer back to your week 4 bag, you can pull it out, and you can start again back through the process. Come through the instructions, the PDF. Please pay attention to the coloration. And each piece is labeled. This is fabric P, that's fabric O, fabric Q, fabric A. We're telling you very specifically how to make all of these blocks. This is the Sunset PDF. We're going through all of these steps. Again, they're just the square and square. We're using the half square triangles to make all of them. When you get to sections like this, you have to pay closer attention, because Q is on this side, and R is on this side, and B is in the middle. We're creating a block that doesn't have, where all of the half square triangles are not the same. Over here, they are different. So you have to pay attention to that. It's really important that you're following the diagrams and that you've really looked at it and you make sure that you have these blocks developed in this way. And then when you get to the last page, once you've sewn all your steps together, there's 4 segments that will be done for this week. And I have them here. So here is row 1, complete. Here is block 2. See it all? We will be showing this on the cover. It's on the cover of the PDF. Here's the 3rd block that's complete for week 2. And this is the last section for week 2. And on the cover of the PDF, it's going to show it shows all of these chunks put together, and you just leave them separate, because in the end we will be pulling this whole quilt together and sewing it together. Thank you for stopping in with us this week. We're happy that you joined us. We're excited to keep plugging along in this project, and we look forward to seeing you next week for week 3 in the Kaffetastic Quilt Along.